You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to... Oh, hello, Jason Alexander here, reporting live from the club at Carlton Woods Nicholas on a scintillating and sensational edition of the Pro Show. We're upcoming. We're going to highlight our fall events here at the club at Carlton Woods. We have a hard-hitting interview with the voice of the Houston Texans, Marc Vandermeer. He'll give us the NFL preview. And Tommy Peppercorn is back on property with another edition of Tommy Tips. I know we don't want to miss that. So let's light a candle, grab a cocktail, and snuggle up to someone close. Because we all know we're going to kick the tires and light the fires. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's do the Pro Show.
Hey, team, this is Vince Young. I love the Pro Show, baby. Let's get it.
Oh, special thank you to old number 10, Vince Young. Oh, one of the millions and millions of Pro Show fans. Big game for the old Longhorns coming up this weekend against Alabama. All right, now next up, we've got our tournament schedule here. Hang on a second. Tommy Peppercorn wants to highlight our tournament schedule. What? I don't know. Let's send it to Tommy.
You might need a reason to call your dad. You might need a reason to get real mad. But you don't really need a good reason to know the schedule for the fall season.
All right, members, our upcoming fall season here at the Club of Carlton Woods. Are you kidding me? We got our men's club championship, September 16th through the 18th. I will not be participating this year, so Devin, Ryan, y'all got a chance. I'm going to be at a pumpkin convention, unfortunately. Ladies, October 4th through the 6th is y'all's club championship here at the club. Men's member guest, October 13th through the 15th. Now, I want to quell any rumors y'all have heard. I have not been asked to play in the member guest this year as of yet. And I'll tell you, I'll be a tenacious partner. Like a cheerleader without a prom date a week before prom. Tenacious. All right? So, as they say, if you want to win it all, give Tommy a call. And then we'll finish out the fall season with our couples member guest, October 28th through the 30th. Back to you, Councilman Pro. All right, I guess we'll hear more from Mr. Peppercorn later in the show. Now it's time for our NFL preview with the voice of the Houston Texans, Marc Vandermeer. Let's take a look. All right, team, here with the voice of the Houston Texans, Marc Vandermeer. Now, Marc, look, we're playing above the rim today. Rarefied air, only the second two-time guest here on the Pro Show's history. How are you feeling today, and welcome?
I am honored, Jason, that I'm a two-time guest. You know, I feel like one of those Saturday Night Live five-time hosts or something. Don't I get a jacket or something?
After your third time, so next year.
Okay, I can buy one here, actually. I'll be ready.
All right, well, hey, let's hop straight into the hard-hitting nine, because everybody knows 10's just way too many questions. All right, look. First time on the show, Marc, we have a perennial question we like to ask, and somehow I whiffed and missed. But all our fans want to know your top 3 favorite football movies. Now, this is all time.
All right, all time. I'm going to go Rudy, and I know some people think it's cheesy. It is cheesy, but it's awesome. Rudy is awesome. Remember the Titans, Denzel Washington. I love that. And then it's kind of a toss-up with everything else, you know. I kind of like The Longest Yard, the old one, but that dates me. Yeah, with Burt Reynolds, you know, and he's in the second one as well.
Too, with Adam.
And the reboot is pretty good. Watch it again. You'll like it.
All right, I've got Varsity Blues, John Moxon. Remember the Titans is 2 for me. And then Rudy just edges out Willie Steeman Beeman Any Given Sunday to make my top 3. And you can't forget Necessary Roughness with little Kathy Ireland kicking the field goals for sure. All right, let's hop into football. Our football preview here, Marc. Head straight up I-45 to old Big D starting out. NFC, look, I'm not buying Jalen Hurts, the hype wagon. I don't think Carson Wentz has it. And look, Danny Dimes in New York's not even close. Do you see anybody competing with Dallas for the division title?
I think Philadelphia can certainly compete with Dallas for the division title. I think they're going to run the ball well. The offense is interesting. The defense will play well enough. The Cowboys did win 12 games. You know, people get all over the Cowboys, but you won 12 games. I know the playoff game didn't go well, but they have a good squad here, and I think they should win at least 10, 11 this year. But I think Philly can challenge them. It's going to be interesting.
I agree. I totally agree. And we'll see what Jalen Hurts does. He's got A.J. Brown from the Titans, so he's going to have some weapons outside, and he can move. So it should be a competitive division. All right, into the NFC West here. NFC West, I think the most competitive division in the NFC. We got Arizona, San Francisco, the Rams, and Seattle. Seattle's out. Defending champion Rams. Kyler got his money. And then we have the Niners with the Trey Lance era kicking off. What are your thoughts?
I don't like the Niners. I think Trey Lance, we'll see how it goes with the Garoppolo drama. And over here, final preseason game, the Texans got into that offensive backfield for the 49ers. I know it was a preseason game, but that kind of had me a little concerned for them if I'm a Niners fan. I think it's the Rams division to lose, really. And as I say that, remember the Rams, they did win the Super Bowl, but those were all close games in the postseason, right? They could have easily just exited at any point, including the Super Bowl itself, but I still like them to win that division.
I do too. For some reason, they feel a year, like 5 years older to me this year, and it's only a year away from.
He's up
we'll
there.
See how his elbow goes.
Yeah.
All right, NFC North. Look, Chicago rebuilding. Detroit, I do like Dan Campbell, rebuilding. Minnesota, can Captain Kirk make that big jump? Can anybody compete with the Packers?
No, next.
A-Raj, another chance to get his second title.
Yeah, right.
No doubt about
Absolutely.
it. All right, we can go to the South. Atlanta rebuilding. Look, I'm famous Jameis New Orleans, possible wild card maybe, and from my seat, is anybody going to unseat the GOAT?
Well, I think the Saints, look, everyone forgets that they won 9 games last year, right? And they were 5-2 when Winston went out, right? So they have talent. The Saints have a lot of talent. They just traded a pretty good DB to Philly. Like, why? So they have a good squad here. But look, as long as Brady's playing, I'm not going to pick against Brady. If I have to pick, I'll pick the Bucs.
Absolutely. And one last team there, Carolina. Can Baker Mayfield, is he going to revive his career at all in Carolina?
I think it'll be interesting. You know, I'm rooting for them against the Browns week 1, and we'll see how it goes. I don't know if it can sustain itself throughout the course of a season, but they could be a tough out.
2 years ago, it looked pretty good. They had a chance to unseat Kansas City and make a Super Bowl run. So we'll see. I like Baker, and he's always entertaining to watch. All right, before we move to the AFC, 3 quarterbacks in year 2. Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence. Who do you feel like makes the biggest jump here in their second year?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't think the Bears are in good shape here because they just picked up a bunch of players after the 53 deadline on Tuesday. And I think that shows you it's good for them because they realize, look, we can do better, right? But it shows you that they might not be very good. As far as those quarterbacks go, I would say Zach Wilson. If he can get healthy and get to the starting line for the New York Jets, I think he'll have the best season. Look, Trevor Lawrence, he's in the division. I know he's good, but I want him to stay bad, so I can't root for him. I can't pick him. I'm going to go Wilson.
All right. See if he can leave those moms alone out in New York. All right. AFC East, Buffalo coming back, loaded. Josh Allen coming into his own. Obviously the Kansas City game in the playoffs last year, one of the best NFL games ever. New England, Miami kind of pretenders to me. Obviously the Jets are out. You like Buffalo?
Well, of course. And the drama here is, do the Dolphins put the Patriots away? Are the Patriots really going to struggle on offense like they did in the preseason? A lot of talk about them. You'll never write them off. They're like Brady, okay? It's Brady and Belichick and all that. Belichick's still there. Can they do it? Are the Dolphins going to be that much better with Mike McDaniel coaching and Tua and all that? So that's the drama. Buffalo wins the division, though.
Absolutely. Miami, maybe a wild card.
Maybe.
On the fringe. Okay, going to the north. Lamar Jackson wants some money. We got Joe Burrow coming back. Does he kind of make that big jump to an MVP caliber quarterback? Kenny Pickett waiting in the wings in Pittsburgh. And then we'll get to Cleveland here in a second. Who do you like coming out of the north?
Obviously Cincinnati would be the chalk pick, right? But, Baltimore, they lost a lot of close games without Lamar Jackson. Look at the scores of those games. They were right there in those contests. The Ravens, there's something about them. If Jackson can play the whole season and he wants the big money, I think that it's a Baltimore win in the AFC North. How about that?
I couldn't agree with you more. I think since he gets a wild card, I think Baltimore wins the division. If Lamar can play 16, 17 games.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. We talk about Cleveland. Jacoby Brissett playing the first 11 games. MV, I've got him, 3-8, 4-7 coming to Houston, which arguably might be one of the biggest regular season games in Texans history if it plays out the way we think it's going to with Deshaun coming back in town. What are your thoughts on the Browns?
Look, I think with Jacoby, it's going to be tough, right? They have a really good team, though, so it'll be interesting. I think the interesting dynamic here also is with Watson able to come into the building in October late. Is the practice situation going to change that much? Will he get a lot of reps? Brissett's still going to need reps, or if it's Dobbs at that point, because you have games to play. You can't just devote them all to Watson to get him ramped up and ready to go. That's going to be interesting. How sharp will he be when they get here? Look, we'll all be watching. It'll be fun.
I can't wait. I'm going to come to that one for sure. All right. And AFC West here, I think the most competitive division in the AFC. 3 Super Bowl, if not 4 Super Bowl contenders. Denver, Russell the Love Muscle, trying to imitate maybe Peyton Manning late in the career, going to Denver, see if he can win a title. Mahomes, big chip on his shoulder, coming back. We've got the Chargers. The hype train is big on old Justin Herbert. And then Vegas, Devontae Adams coming to join Derek Carr, has a true number 1 receiver. What are your thoughts?
Broncos won 7 games. They were 7-10 with a disastrous quarterback situation last year. With Russell Wilson, they should be a whole lot better, right? But it's hard to pick against Kansas City. It just is. That's like one of those teams that are a perennial playoff appearance maker. And I just think that they're going to win that division somehow, some way. The Chargers, you can't really fully believe in them until you see it. And the same thing with the Raiders. So it's Denver or Kansas City. I'll go Kansas City.
All right, I like that. I got to ask you, I drafted this guy as a flyer in my fantasy league, Sky Moore. Have you seen or heard about this guy a little bit?
Yeah, and, I think fantasy is always strange, right? Because you can have guys who perform really well in fantasy leagues that might not be on a winning team even, right? So, do it at your own risk.
They're calling him the new Tyreek. We'll see. I'm giving him till about week 6, and we'll see if he can come on the scene. All right, before we get into the South prediction, let's talk Texans real quick. And look, on the Pro Show, we ask the hard-hitting questions. I'm going to ask you something that no one's been talking about, surprisingly. What are your thoughts on Davis Mills?
No one's been talking about that at all. Look, I think that Mills, it's trending upwards with his performance, right? And I believe the team's going to be able to run the ball this year. So that's going to help Davis Mills a lot. He put up some decent numbers last year, especially late, without having much of a ground game. They ran well against the Chargers. This is a completely different team now, Jason. Look, they've got Dameon Pierce running the ball. They have a different ethic running the football. Laramie Tunsil did not play for the bulk of the season last year. This is a different line. I know you see a lot of the same names, but they're going to play differently. Titus Howard, comfortable at right tackle. That's where he belongs. I think it's all going to help Davis Mills. I'm not looking for 35 TD passes, 4,000 yards. I'm looking for effective passing game added to that running game. Let's see if they could score enough points.
In different preseason, I thought the last preseason game, he had a couple really nice throws. So we'll see. We're all excited to watch for sure. So we get into the prediction for the South here. Matt Ryan coming into the division with Indianapolis, very good roster. Tennessee, perennial, and obviously Jacksonville rebuilding. But who's your take? Do you think Matty Ice can get it done?
No. I don't. You know me, I don't like the Colts at all. But I think when you look at the AFC South objectively, it's Tennessee's division to lose, right? And a lot of people think Tennessee is going to be worse this year. But if Derrick Henry plays the whole season, I know he didn't last year, but he could this year, well, they're going to be fine, you would think, right? They were better on defense last year. I know they have the quarterback situation, but they could put Malik Willis in for a package or two and let him dazzle you that way and still win games with Ryan Tannehill. I think with the Colts, Matty Ice, gosh, they can be really good with that ground game with Jonathan Taylor, but I got to see it to believe it. It's another one of those things. People forget this about the Colts. Midway through the season, Wentz started to play really well for them.
I agree.
They were smoking hot.
They were in the playoffs. It was done.
And then they just started to go like this. In the last 2 games, they lost, and that was that. So let's see how it plays out.
I agree. I'm going to take the Colts in the division. I think Matt Ryan's a big upgrade over Carson Wentz, but we shall see. Tennessee's, it's tough to bet against Tennessee if Derrick Henry plays all 17. Okay. Almost to the finish line here. Got to ask the question. Vegas has the Houston Texans win total at 4.5, the lowest in the NFL. Seattle's at 5.5. Marc Vandermeer, are we taking the over? Can the Texans win 5 or more?
Absolutely. Now, remember, they could be a lot better and not have that many more wins because last year they had 4 or 5 blowouts, right? Losses. And you could be really close in those games and still not have a better record, but be a lot better as a team. However, I think that they're going to, the way they play football, the way they want to play football, Jason, they will win more games than that. I don't know if they can be a wild card team or anything like that, but I think they'll have more wins than last year for sure. I think that Vegas number, look, if I was in Vegas, I'd probably do the same thing because they're doing it based on where people are likely to put their money. So that's how they make decisions. We make decisions differently here. You want to see the Texans run the ball. They're going to get takeaways, play much better defense, a lot more talent on that side of the ball than last year. Let's go.
I agree with Vandermeer. I'm playing the over, no doubt about it. All right. MV Andre Ware on the air September 11th against Matty Ice and the Colts' 21st season.
Let's go.
Can you give us one good one to close it out?
Rock and roll.
Texans touchdown. Thanks, Marc Vandermeer.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, some great insight there from Marc Vandermeer. I know we're all ready for the NFL to kick off this Sunday. And now it's time for what everybody wants. But that's what everyone needs. Another edition of Tommy Tips. Let's send it out to Mr. Peppercorn. Woo! Good golly, Miss Molly. Oh, welcome in all the Tommy Peppercorn fans for your tip today. All right, we're going to talk about pelvic gyration. All right, other instructors refer to this as hip turn. All right, so let's talk about our pelvic. If I put a little club right outside my right hip here, we want to make sure we load into that just a little bit on our backswing. And now we're going to move away from that club while our chest covers where our pelvic was. How about that? Now take a look at this big old load behind the ball. Now we're ready to strike. All right, so if you do this correctly, like me, oh baby, woo! Listen to T-Pep, you'll be hitting absolute piss missiles with your iron game. Come on. All right, team, I know we're all excited for the fall season here at the Club of Carlton Woods. We have football. It is going to be electric. So on behalf of the staff at the Club of Carlton Woods, to the members, guests, millions, and millions of Pro Show fans, until next time, have a big time.